Listen, before I tell you these stories, do one thing. Look around the room you are sitting in right now. Make sure no one is standing behind you, because the last person who heard the first story swore someone whispered their name from right over their shoulder. And before listening to the story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel because darker stories are coming soon. Now, breathe slowly. The motels in these stories still exist. People still stay in them, and not everyone checks out. Let's begin. Story 1. Room 9 at the Ridgeview Inn. You ever walk into a place and instantly feel like something is wrong even before you understand why? That is exactly what happened to my friend Anthony when he pulled into a tiny Colorado town called Ridgeview. He had been driving for 12 hours straight. His eyes were burning, snow was falling in thick, slow motion. He just needed a bed and a door that locked. Then, he saw it. A flickering neon sign, barely visible through the snow. Ridgeview Inn. He parked, dragged his bag across a frozen lot, and pushed open the door to the front office. You know that old library smell? Mix that with wet carpet and something like rotten wood. That was the smell. No one behind the counter. Just thick silence. He topped the little bell. Ding! A few seconds later, an old man stepped out from the back. White hair, eyes like pale glass, and a face that didn't look surprised to see him. More like disappointed. Anthony forced a smile. Rough night, huh? You got any rooms open? The old man nodded slowly and said, All rooms are open except for the ones that are occupied. Which is exactly the kind of answer that tells you nothing but still feels wrong. But Anthony was tired. He took the key. Room 9. He walked down the hallway. Long, narrow, lights flickering like bad hospital bulbs. He inserted the key and pushed open the door to room 9. And immediately, he knew something was off. The air was heavy, like the room had just stopped crying. He said he could almost taste the sadness, like someone's fear was still floating there. He set his bag down and heard a soft tapping. Tap. 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 From the closet. He froze. Tapped walls, maybe. Pipes? Old building noises? He brushed it off. Showered, changed clothes, crawled into bed. Lights off. And right when it went dark, a whisper from behind his ear. Not from the hallway, not from next door, from inside the room. Don't close your eyes. Anthony sat up so fast he almost pulled a muscle. He turned the lamp on. Empty room. He sat awake for almost an hour, staring at the closet door. Finally, he forced himself to lie back down. He turned off the light again. Silence. Then, the bed dipped, like someone sat down next to him. Then the same whisper. You came back. He grabbed his bag and ran, did not stop running until he reached his car. He slept in the freezing driver's seat until morning. Now, here is the part that chills him to this day. 2 weeks later, his credit card got charged. Ridgeview Inn, room 9. He had not gone back. He had not made any reservation. He called the motel. The same old man answered. "Sir, you checked in last night, room 9. Anthony said, "No, I didn't. I was in another state last night." The old man replied with a low, shaky voice. "That's what they all say. But you always come back." He hung up. The charge of continued every single month for 6 months. Each bill had the same handwritten note. "Welcome back." Story 2. The Woman Who Needed Towels. Julian worked at a small roadside motel in rural Tennessee. Quiet town. Nothing ever happened. Until she showed up. Heavy rainstorm, wind shaking the sign, thunder rattling the windows. At around 10 at night, the front door slammed open. A woman walked in, completely drenched, hair stuck to her face, clothes soaked like she had climbed out of a lake. She didn't speak, didn't look up, just slid her card across the counter. Julian gave her room 14. She took the key and walked away with slow, dragging steps. 10 minutes later, she returned. "I need towels." Her voice was thin, like she had been screaming earlier. Julian handed her 3 towels. She walked away. 20 minutes later, "I need more towels." Julian frowned. "Ma'am, are you okay? Why do you need so many?" She stared at him with eyes that didn't blink. "They are not drying." He asked what wasn't drying. She said nothing. She simply walked back down the hallway. At 1:30 in the morning, Julian did his usual night check. When he passed room 14, he heard dripping, steady, slow, thick. He knocked. Silence. Then the door opened just an inch. She was standing in darkness, her sleeves soaked, water dripping from her hands. But not clear water. Dark water, almost black. She whispered again, "I need more towels." Julian gave her some. She shut the door. The next morning, housekeeping tried to clean the room. No answer. They used the master key. The room was empty. No woman, no bags, nothing. But the towels were there. Every single one. Piled in the center of the room. All of them soaked. All dripping that same black water. On the bathroom mirror, a long handprint, like someone had dragged their wet fingers across the glass. Police checked the security footage. They saw Julian handing out towels. They saw the hallway. They saw doors opening and closing. But not once, not for a single second, did the woman appear on camera. Room 14's door opened, closed, opened again. No person ever visible. To this day, Julian swears the towels kept disappearing, but no human ever touched them. Story 3. The Voice Under the Bed. My cousin Lucas got trapped in a snowstorm while driving through Wisconsin. Everything from the road to the trees was buried in white. He found a tiny motel, only 6 rooms. Classic old wooden sign. He got room 6. He said the moment he walked inside, he felt this strange pressure around his chest, like the room did not want him there. He tried to sleep, but the heater was barely working. He pulled the blankets up to his chin. At exactly midnight, he heard a whisper from under the bed. "Help! Please. He froze, thought he was imagining it. Then again, clearer. Please, help me. Lucas got on the floor, lifted the sheet, shined his phone flashlight under the bed. Nothing, just dust and wood. He sat back on the bed, hands shaking. He tried not to think about it. Maybe the wind, maybe the storm. Then he heard it again. Not a whisper this time. A voice right beneath him. Don't leave me down here. Lucas ran to the front desk. A teenage kid was half asleep behind the counter. Lucas told him everything. The kid said, "Yeah, room 6 makes weird noises sometimes. It is probably the vents." Lucas demanded another room. He got room 3. As he walked away, he saw the kid lock the office door, close the blinds, and make a phone call. Lucas barely had time to calm down when he heard something new. A slow scratching sound coming from inside the wall behind his bed. Scratch, scratch, scratch. The sound traveled from the wall to the floor, to the carpet, to the foot of the bed, and finally stopped right under him. Soft breathing rose from the darkness. Then the same voice whispered, "I told you not to leave." Lucas ran into the snow with no shoes. A truck driver found him on the highway the next morning, half frozen, barely conscious. 2 days later, Lucas called the motel to demand an explanation. A different manager answered the phone. "There is no teenage boy working here." Lucas said, "He gave me room 6. The manager got very quiet. "Sir, room 6 has been sealed shut since 2014. No one enters that room. No one stays in that room." Lucas said, "But I slept there. I was in that room." The manager whispered, "Then someone else opened it for you." Story 4. The guest who should not have been there. This last one is from police reports, and the final voicemail a man named Mark left before he vanished. He was on a photography trip across small towns in Nevada. He checked into the Desert Lantern Motel, room 12. At 10:45, he texted his sister, "This motel feels wrong, like someone is watching me." At 11:03, she got a voicemail. You can hear his breathing. There is someone in the next room, but the front desk says it is empty. At 11:10, it is pacing, dragging its feet. At 11:17, it just knocked on the wall. At 11:19, it said my name. Silence for a while. Then, one final message. It opened the connecting door. I swear I locked it. It is standing in the doorway. It looks like me. But the smile is wrong. The voicemail ends with footsteps rushing toward the phone. When police arrived, room 12 was empty. 2 sets of footprints inside, marks, and an identical second pair leading into the connecting room, which was locked from the inside. Security footage showed a man leaving at 11:32, wearing Mark's jacket. Same build, same stride, not the same face. The smile was too wide, too stretched, eyes completely black. Mark was never found. Locals say sometimes, very late at night, a shape appears in the window of room 12. Still, human-shaped, but not human.